Everybody wants some. Hey, Muggy, how about you? What up, Nitro Nation? Muggy Maniac is in the Nitro Cave. We're wrenching. We're getting ready to... Man, we're getting ready to rip some serious next level carnitas. Not carne asada. Yeah, I love carne asada, but decided to mix it up. We're going carnitas tacos. Homemade beans, homemade rice, homemade salsa. Oh, snaps! Can you smell what the Muggy's cooking? Can you guys smell that? Smell that? That's a bomb right there, people. Oh, snaps. You know how the Muggy does it. Muggy does it next level. So, what's up, Nitro Nation? Welcome all. Muggy Maniacs, Chuggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs. Yeah, monster trucks. Man, if that's your thing, if you're a monster truck guy, man, then have at it. Knock yourself out. You know, go through one-way bearings, go through pull starts. I got a box of them somewhere, and then finally you're gonna like tap out and say, okay, Muggy, you're right, man. Monster trucks are cool, you know, every once, but they're not next level, and they're freaking headaches. Because that's the reality of it, right? So anyway, also welcome 5th Scale Insaniacs. Okay, shout out to the 2 guys that don't need a shout out, because you know the only 2 guys that I really talk to a lot. Although I have a couple new guys that somehow snuck in the Muggy pipeline, so to speak, and they're knocking on the Muggy's back social media back door, and they're like, hello, Muggy? What's up, Muggy? And I'm like looking at these, you know, noticing these people. I'm like, oh, okay, it's the guy that likes to you know, talk smack, that his, you know, his point 21 is on point, when, you know, he knows, and you know, this isn't a you know, I'm not throwing them under the bus, but come on. If you've never owned a quality, okay, I'm not talking Chinaman. I'm not talking, you know, OS. You know, I mean, OSs are good, okay? Face it, everybody's racing them, but you know what? When it comes down to it, if you guys know this or not, we're going to touch a little bit on the DNC Nitro, the Dirt Nitro Challenge. And not touch on it a lot. And by the way, I first off want to apologize. You guys haven't got a run video. I'm having a little technical difficulties, camera, you know, stuff like that. So I don't know what happened. But to make a long story short, we got one coming. Okay, hold tight. I know you guys like the running videos as well, because you want to see some brat. Like I said, we're gonna have a old school reunion of these 2, because these 2 originally met probably about 4 years ago. The MBX5 was my first race kit. Even though it was an old school race kit, it was still my first race kit. Because remember, the XGN was when I got back into Nitro 6 years ago, that was my first actual somewhat decent kit that I bought. Okay, and it's an RTR. It's not a race kit. You guys know the XTM Mammoth ST, you know, Muggy, my Muggy. I call it my Muggy because it, you know, I mean, it's got big ass shocks. It's got Muggy tires. It's not a monster truck, okay? Just to re-educate some of the people, because I get flack for this. Oh, your name's Muggy Maniac and you don't even own a Muggy. Well, this don't look like no monster truck, which it's not. Sure in the hell ain't a buggy. It's not a truggy, so it only has one thing left. It is their version of a Muggy. Okay, those are Muggy tires. I don't know, they're not monster truck tires, and they're not stadium or buggy tires. So anyway, when I got my first kit, race kit, was this Offna. I'm sorry. This Mugen MBX5 Pro Spec came out was released in 2003. The year it came out, I don't know who it was, but it won a world title. I don't know if it was IFMAR or Roar. It won a world title the first year it came out, 2003. Go do Wikipedia, it'll tell you. Wikipedia MBX. And you know, like I don't know if I said this, but Mugen means infinite. That's what the word Mugen means, infinite, because they're just badass. And we've seen that this weekend. Yes, Mayfield got beat by Ron Falk. Okay, got pushed out by Jared Tebow. And hey, kudos to Tebow. Tebow capitalized on Mayfield's mistake. Mayfield had second in the bag, and he bobbled, and he ended up giving up to, he still podiumed. Bottom line, Mayfield was the baddest, in my opinion, in most guys' opinion. You can ask anybody around in racing. Mayfield is the baddest asser, professional, four-wheel drive, RC, Nitro, whatever guy there is. Period, man. That's why I love Mayfield, man. Mayfield is an animal. He's a beast mode, always. He has toned it down. He's not punched out like he used to be, but he still can get the job done. And you guys don't know, or you guys already know, he spanked that ass in Truggy. Okay, before we get into a little bit of that, to finish what I was talking about, this was my first professional race kit. This Mugen MBX5 Pro Spec came with all the bells and whistles, man. Titanium, 5mm aluminum 7075 shock towers, carbon fiber. It came with everything. This thing was ready to rock and roll. Okay, you guys seen, I rewrapped the chassis. We got her looking sexy again, but I'm still replacing this chassis. The hunt is still on. If anybody knows where they can look, if they find me an MBX5 buggy chassis, hit me up. I found a couple, but they're overseas and they won't ship over here, so it kind of sucks. Now, this engine was the first sealed engine that I put in this thing. Matter of fact, I think it was the first engine I ever ran in this thing. Was this Offna Hyper 21 Old School. It's funny how those people have those rubber caps. Like that was something new. They were just, look, this thing was, 17 years ago or whatever. 20 years ago, probably, this engine. But it's a Hyper 21.21. I believe it's a 5-port. It's a badass little engine. It didn't come sealed. If you find these things on eBay, brand new, they're going to come with a pull start. Good luck on finding a backplate. It was hard to find, but I did find one. I'm sure they're out there still. So I sealed it up. Now, recently I told you guys there's a Huddy piston in it. Redid I shimmed it. I think it's got a .55 millimeter shim. And I'm going to touch on a guy, I keep forgetting his name. He knows who he is. Okay, I believe his name's, I think it's Nitro Mike. It's funny because I was already planning on doing this. That's why I pulled these engines down. Okay. Because I'm going to go over a couple things next level. But at the same time, we're going to keep on the program of building a race kit on a budget. Okay. We're building tacos on a budget. And next level tacos, by the way. And I'm going to continue on this series to teach you guys how to build a next level race kit on a budget. Now, I did the math. For about less than $700, what it would cost you for a Mugen or a Techno or whatever brand new top-of-line Truggy, for what it costs you for a brand new roller, I can teach you and show you, because I've done it, how to build one fully ready to roll, okay, for the same price. So that means for less than $700, I can teach you how to build a top-notch race Truggy. I mean, engine and everything. But remember, we're going off the buggy budget because it's actually about $200 less. Okay, a Truggy's going to cost you more, bottom line. Okay, because it's, it's a Truggy. They're just more money. Okay, that's why they're not very popular, if you guys don't know, or FYI, in the race realm. Even though I love them, and I think, the bread and butter is the buggies. Okay, that's the main thing. But as you know, buggies are badass. Yes, buggies with some badass engines in them, especially when you start putting modded engines like this. The Techno is next time you see this Techno buggy rip, we're going to be ripping a modded 28.8 Rex Legend. Okay, and I mean, we've got this thing set up. We got the 9886 with the 41032 modified 28.8 Rex Legend. Bam! Okay. next level, okay? Because, let's face it, that's what next level is. Next level, I mean, there's different levels, but the next level that we talk about in E-Scale Nitro is modified engines. Okay, there's next level whips, next level a lot of things. But the main one is next level engines. Not no stock engines. You know, even though 28.8 Rex Legends, LRP.32s, Picos 28s are badass stock, not next level. Next level is modded. Okay, so shout out, like I said, to Nitro Mike, because he asked, he said, hey, can you mention about shims? And I'll go over shimming. I've done it before. I've learned shimming a long time ago. There's only a few guys that ever really talk about it, and one guy, you can go look him up. His name's Mike B. Pretty knowledgeable guy. I stopped really watching the guy because he does the E-word. If you're a guy that does Nitro, and this is just me, right? Okay, this isn't nothing, I don't want to, you know, act like, okay, well, I'm better than, because I'm not, okay? I'm not better than anybody. I'm just Joe Blow. The Muggy's is some knucklehead that doesn't even have a real freaking video camera or whatever, phone camera, that does half-ass videos. But for some reason, I get 300 to 400 people viewing my videos every single time I upload one. So I guess somebody likes watching me, because otherwise I wouldn't be getting those views. You know? I mean, people always criticize me. They're like, hey, Muggy, you've been around for YouTube for 6 years or for how long, and you don't even got 400 subscribers. Why? You know, you guys all know that. You know why. It's because I'm real. I'm 100% real. No ifs, ands, buts, no smoke, mirrors, nothing. I keep it real. And because I keep it real, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of people on YouTube don't like reality. Okay, that's why I don't have that many subscribers. But it's funny how I get more views than I have subscribers. And a lot of guys don't even have as many subscribers as I do. I mean, or don't have it. They have more subscribers than the Muggy does, yet they can't even muster up a third of, you know, their subscribers as far as view-wise. But anyway, that's no here said or whatever. Nitro Mike asked me to do the shims, and I learned from a guy named Mike B. And there's a lot of benefits. Shimming is the last tuning option, pretty much. There's a couple things that shimming does for your engine, performance-wise, but other things too, and I'll get into that. So anyway, Muggy's trying to stay on the program here, because you know how I get sidetracked. Muggy likes to, I'm very random. So anyway, you can build a Mugen, you can build an older Techno 48.3, I mean, you can build an older Kyosho. There's a couple race kits associated as one of them, but you can build a lot of older whips for very inexpensive price. Like you can build a race kit like this, okay, for $500 or less. That's what it costs you. If you go buy a Kyosho RTR Neon or Neo, or if you go buy an RTR, Losi, or if you go buy an RTR Optima, you're going to spend about $500 by the time you get it delivered to your door. And keep in mind, when you're buying those kits, you're going to replace a lot of stuff because it's RTR. It's mostly plastic. You're paying for the plastic. You're not getting aluminum, titanium. I mean, this MBX5, if you find these 5Rs and these Pro Specs, they come with everything. You don't need to upgrade nothing. That's what I love about this thing. Nothing on this thing you need to upgrade. The only thing that I really upgraded is the front. There's the rear chassis brace. That's titanium. And the front acronym. That's titanium as well. It already comes with everything else. There wasn't anything else that I needed to upgrade. I mean, yes, I did do some modifications because why in the hell, and I'm going to do the same thing. It fits in here, but I got to figure out on the body-wise. Why run in a Techno, if you have Techno buggies and truggies, if you have a Mugen, if you have a buggy, any buggy, you can run a 150cc tank in it. The MBX7 truggy tank fits in here. The modification you do is like nothing. All it is, and I think I showed you guys, is you're bridging this where it mounts up. You're getting a flat piece of plastic. You're making a little bridge, and you're mounting to the where it mounts up on the tank. And the little bridge, you drill a hole through it, and you mount it up to the. I don't know if you guys can see that. You mount it up to where it mounts onto the tank mount post right there. It's very easy. This thing here, it just goes right in. Okay, you don't need to really do any alterations or any modification. Now, you are going to be -1 post here, but still, this thing's in here solid. And this MBX7 carbon fiber tray is way better than the Mugen buggy, the stock one that comes on the 5. Because, like I said, the stock one lays the steering servo on its side. And that's no bueno for steering. I mean, it works good and it's fine. But this is way better. Trust me. The steering on this thing is way more agile, a lot quicker, turns sharper just by having it up this way. Okay? Way better. So anyway, I mean, I didn't, other than that, I mean, it comes with everything. It comes with all the bells and whistles that you need. You know, and they're out there. And the parts, like I said, the availability of parts are like easy to find. So that's one thing that I wanted to kind of emphasize on as far as a used whip. Okay, you can, I mean, it is very important that when you're buying a whip, and this goes for, keep in mind, this goes for used and new. Make sure that's why I've never got an X-ray, never got a hot body, never got a Kyosho, because the parts availability on them suck. And they're expensive. Those 3 vehicles, Kyosho, Chuggies, X-ray Chuggies, Kyosho, X-ray, and hot bodies, their parts are hard to find. Go look. Trust me. Mugen and Techno, no problem. Mugen buggy, especially 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the Mugens, probably the most available, have the most available parts of any whip. I would have to say is the Mugen. But there's a lot of Techno, and, you know, and like I said, I mean, you can get, you know, an Okna, which is a good, very good buggy, probably the best RTR buggy. But we're not talking about RTRs. We're talking about race kits. This thing, brand new, out of the box, fully equipped, will spank an Okna's ass. Now, everybody always says, oh, pillow balls, pillow balls, pillow balls. Listen, I don't know if you guys go watch my old videos. I've ran this vehicle and the MBX7, had them run away on me, and run them about 40 miles an hour plus into brick walls. Did I break any pillow balls? Nope. Did this thing break any pillow balls? Nope. The only thing that happened on this one was the front, A block, I think it was A block, bent in, and that's 70-75 4 or 5 millimeter aluminum. That bottom piece right there bent in, but it didn't bend the hinge pins. And the back one, it didn't barely bend at all. The chassis got a little tweaked up in the corner, but I straightened it out. It's another reason I want to replace this chassis. And this one here, nothing. No broken pillow balls, no broken arms. I mean, a full-on runaway. Straight into a wall. So, that's why I laugh when people tell me, you know, that Mugen pillow balls they break. And that's funny, because those people that say that, again, like I said about the engine thing, they don't even own them. Just like the people that talk all this smack about big blocks and, oh, a .21 this and a .20, and they don't even, first of all, own a quality .21. They own some excuse my language, some bullshit freaking Chinaman .21, and they're talking, you know, out their ass. And they don't even own a quality .28. If you don't own the best 28 there is, which is a Noborossi Rex Legend 28.8, you have no idea what a 28 really is about. Yes, Pico Boosts and the Pico P3s, and, you know, those are great engines too. But you guys know, that's no secret. Anybody, you know, and anybody, even if you don't know or you do know by now, the Rex Legend 28.8 is the baddest 28.8 engine made, period. all around package, full on package, $190. Well, I know it's more now for the newer one, but still, when you were getting them, the Rex, $190. Don't have to do nothing. Don't have to, that's what the LRP .32. That's the only thing that I always will gripe about it. It is a Chinaman motor. It's not near the quality of a Nova Rossi. It even looks pretty. I give it that. It's got the freaking sexiest looking freaking cooling head out of any engine that I've ever seen. But it doesn't change the fact that the internals on it are garbage. It's made in Taiwan. Did you guys know that this block and these internals are made the same place that the XTM engines are made? Go do your homework. These are made in Taiwan. Taiwan motors. Yeah, they're a 32. Yeah, it's a big motor, but still. If you have one and you have a Rex Legend, well, you already know. That's no secret. That motor will outlast that motor any day. This motor right here is the baddest 28.8 made. And when you get it modded by RC Renew by Lance Heidman, it's the baddest engine, period. How can I say that? Because I own this one modded by RCR, and I own this one modded by Rick Brake at RB Mods. And like I said, credit due where credit's due. He did a decent job on this. I'm not just saying this because I love these motors. This is a badass engine. And you'll see when it's running when I run it in this Techno, which I've never ran in the Techno buggy, this is a badass engine. Okay, this RB modded engine is badass. But the RCR is badder asser. Completely next level. Whole different level. Not even the same planet. So anyway, yeah, so you can build a buggy on a budget, but you want to make sure that the parts availability is there. Look around. You guys can't rely on hobby shops. I don't know how many times I got to emphasize that. The track day hobbies and those people that have those hobby shops that, have a supply of Nitro, those are far and few and in between. That's not reality. Reality is that hobby shops are dying or dead, and they're not carrying anything but E-word. Remember, that's why I'm totally hooked on No Name Podcast. I love listening to JQ. That guy's very smart. He knows his shit. Yeah, he's an ass. Yeah, people criticize him. Yeah, that's JQ. JQ, that's him. He just doesn't give a rat's ass. He just keeps it real and calls it how he sees it. And that's what I like about him. He's a lot like me. But they always say, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. And it's true, because everybody's converting to E-Word. All these corporate companies, Horizon and Traxxas and all these companies, and those are the two main culprits, don't give a rat's ass about us and Nitro. Only thing they're concerned about is making money. And what makes them money? I'll tell you what makes them money. What makes them money is E-Word. Because, face it, this society is lazy. They're lazy and they don't want to do anything but plug their shit in and go. Okay? They don't want to have to tinker. They don't want to have to roll up their sleeves and get dirty. That's why, look, there, that's right there, man. There you go. Look. See that? Nitro guys, look, man. We got the freaking caffeine going, our nitro fuel, and look. We got the freaking E-word guys there, little princesses with their fingernails. That's reality, man. Okay? So and that's why those guys say on No Name Podcast, Nitro is the glory, because we know Nitro is the glory. But E-Buggy pays the frickin' bills, okay? And that's just the way it is. So anyway, when you're putting together a whip, like I said, batteries, all that is important. For a Techno, you can get a Techno NT48.3 in a good condition as a roller, $300. Okay? This is the battery you want to get because it's a life battery, so it saves lives. It's $32. Look up Michael's RC Hobbies. A-Main carries them. A lot of companies carry them. It's around 30 bucks. Now you can get there's a little bit cheaper one, which is the Reedy battery. It's about $5 cheaper. But I recommend the Protex. These are good batteries, man. That's what I use in my Technos. Okay, I use one in here, and I use one in the buggy. Okay, now, okay, 300, let's say 330, okay, throw in a radio. Now, I have a few radios. I got a new radio coming, by the way, just so you guys know. I will tell you, it's the newest Fly Sky. Let me tell you, I love Fly Skies. Okay, in the past, I've owned Futaba's. I have this Sanwa. By the way, these Sanwas, if you can find them used, 200 bucks. I like this radio. It's actually, I was very shocked and surprised this radio is actually pretty badass. Okay? A brand new one's around 3 something. But you can get them used, good shape, 200 bucks. Okay? Now, the budget radio obviously is the Fly Sky FS GT3B. One of the most reliable $40 radios I've ever owned. I'm telling you, man, people gave this radio a lot of crap, and now you see guys Fitzgills using them. Okay? And you know who I'm talking about. These I've never had an issue. The receivers are small, they're very cheap, $8 I think, or you know, whatever. Never had an issue. It's a $40 radio, you can probably find it for $34. So there you go, 30, that's 60. You paid $300 for this Techno. Okay, 360. Now we need an engine. That's the big question. Now you can buy an Overossi engine, 200 bucks, an LRP, whatever. Remember the LRP, you're going to have to spend money. You're going to have to mill the carburetor. You're going to have to get a carburetor because that piece of shit X-Tech is no bueno. So you're going to have to put a Overossi carburetor on it. I mean, you don't have to. You can run the KO Show 0.25 carburetor. Okay, actually that's the same carburetor that I have on this Offman. This Offman has that carburetor. There it is right there. Fits perfect on this. So, you know, but just the LRP, that's why I don't recommend them. You gotta do too much, you gotta put too much money into it to make it even worth, you know, I mean, to get it to where it needs to be. Unlike the 28.8 Rex Legends where you break them in and they're good to go. You don't have to do nothing. Okay, that's why I recommend those engines. But whatever. Let's just say you get a used engine, you spend around $200, maybe. You can probably find a cheaper engine. Now we're talking truggy. Remember that. Because a lot of people have asked me about the truggy. And I know the buggy is more of the budget. And I do recommend the buggy for the first. My first professional race kit was a buggy. It wasn't a truggy. Well, that was the RTR that I got, the muggy over there. But my first professional quality actual race kit, not an RTR, race kit was a buggy. So I highly recommend the buggy. Yes, they're badass, they're squirrels, and yes, we know truggies are lethal weapons. Period. End of story. Okay, then you got to figure a pipe. You can get a decent pipe for about 30, 40, 50 bucks maybe. If you're running a, like I said, I recommended this to a few guys. If you're running a stock 28.8 Rex Legend, try the 053 Dynamite. It works perfect on that engine. I've ran stock, modded 28s. Okay, the 053 Dynamite is the best all-around header on a bone stock 28.8 Rex Legend. Trust me. Or do your own research. Do your own experiments. But it's a good pipe. A-Main, 50-something bucks. But you can get it, you know, so your pipe, 50-something bucks. You don't need to get a 9886 or 41032. Unless you got a modded engine, then you're going to want that header. Okay, then you got to consider Badlands. Okay, you are going to pay $80 for 4 Badlands and 4 DE racing rims. You want the DE racing rims because it's not going to eliminate your ballooning, but it's going to minimize it. I was talking to one of my Nitro brothers today, and we were talking about that. There's just, to say that you're going to eliminate ballooning, that's heresy. You're talking out your ass. You're not. You will limit it and limit the amount of ballooning by running DEs, because the DE rims are 4-inch rims, and you're taking a 3.8 and stretching it over it. But after these Badlands get soft, like these, look, see how soft they are? Look. And I recommend changing the foam. Proline foam is garbage. Look into AKA and look into J Concepts. Their foam is a lot better. But remember, you can't use a stock chuggy foam. You got to get an oversized foam or get extra foam and just somehow stuff it more. So anyway, there's another $80 right there. Okay, then you got to remember too, you're going to need servos. Now as far as the servos, and this is buggy or truggy, like I said, 2 that I recommend. Go with the Savox. Okay, the Savox SEO254 MGs. Not the greatest, not the fastest, not the torquiest, but they work really well for recreational use and bashing. Or spend the extra dollars and get the Protect 100 Ts. Okay, $49.99 a piece. So you're either spending $60 or $100. Include that in the price of your truggy, and there's where you're getting about $6 to $6.50 when all's said and done. Now you can upgrade to a radio and you can get the FlySky IT4S, which I highly recommend, only for the techno. Don't try to run this in anything but the techno. Remember, the issue with this radio is because it has so many telemetries and so many things going on in it, that when it gets hot, and Mugens and most vehicles like Losi's, their receiver is in the back by the engine. And I've ran it in Mugens and I've had issues. But when my techno, because if you look at the technos, the receiver is in the center, nowhere near the engine. That's what I like about technos. Your receiver is right here. So you don't have to worry about it being back here and getting affected by the heat. Okay? So because of that, I've never, ever, ever, ever had an issue with the FlySky IT4S in my techno. Never. I run the glitch busters. Yes, I recommend them. No, they're not going to eliminate runaways. It's not called the runaway buster. It's called the glitch buster. It eliminates the glitching. Stores a little bit of power, but not enough to stop a runaway. So anyway, there you go. Now remember, knock about 150 off of that or so, and you can build a badass race kit with those same prices. But you're talking $100, $150 less on the platform. You can get sometimes a decent 8-scale race kit. I showed you that JQ. Not, I don't know a lot about JQs because I don't own one, but they're supposed to be pretty decent. Or a Mugen like this for around $150 to $200. Remember, the truggy is going to cost you about $100 to $150 more because it's a truggy. So that's kind of the difference. And like I said, let me emphasize one more time. Make sure that the parts availability is there. I love Mugens and Technos for why? Not because of the parts availability. That's one of the reasons. But because of technical support. I can call Techno anytime. I can, watch an Adam Drake video and I'm good. I'm kind of looking at Agamas. I like the Agama buggies, the new ones. But they're still, I don't think they're still proven enough yet, even though Lutz is doing well with them. Okay? So anyway, that's building a next level affordable race kit. So remember, next level affordable tacos and next level affordable race kits. Okay, so let's get into this motor. So what I've done is I pulled apart. Oh, we were talking about the DNC, right? Well, we'll talk about the DNC while I'm showing you these engines. Like, okay, I don't know how Mayfield starts ninth in the 9th position. Dakota Fenn, Team Losi, TQs, fastest time, pole position, starting number 1 up front, and he gets his ass handed to him by Ryan Mayfield, and Mayfield's starting in 10th. How does that happen? That's, hey, like I said, credit due where credit's due, but criticism due where criticism's due. Dakota deserves criticism for that. That was not good for TLR, because they're debuting a brand new truggy, okay? He ran the fastest qualifying time. He TQ'd, and he got his ass spanked. Mayfield and Mugen came from like 9th, I believe. Mayfield started, and spanked Dakota's ass. That's pretty embarrassing. Now, if you guys, TLR guys, you know, congratulations. You guys finally got a truggy in the works. But remember, that truggy is a prototype. Do you know what prototype means? It means you're not going to see if you're lucky, you'll see that 8X truggy on the market by the end of this year. Maybe not even that. They're still doing a lot of developing, and it costs money. And after that outing, I don't think that's good enough for them to go ahead and release that thing. Now, I know that sucks, especially if you're a TLR guy, because you guys have been waiting how long for that thing? It's ridiculous that you guys are even waiting that long. But it is what it is. At least you guys got one coming. Look at it that way. At least you're fortunate that you got a Losi Truggy coming, a new one. And hopefully it's not anything like the X Buggy. Because if that's the case, well, you fill in the gaps. You guys already know. So anyway, I pulled apart 3 of my favorite 2021s. Yes, these are all pea shooters. Okay, but these are probably 3 of the baddest pea shooters that I own. I've ran a lot of them. I ran a few of them. You know, the P5 is pretty badass. You know, I had an OS modified. You know, I have the Elite 5. The only one that two that I don't own that I'd like to own as far as pea shooters is a Works and a Pico. I mean a LRP. Well, actually 3. Pico .21, LRP .21. I would like to get one of those Testments, but I'm not paying $500 for no damn engine. .21. Hell no. Never. Never have, never will. I won't even pay that for a Reds. By the way, I have another Reds in the works, so I will be picking up another Reds. And I've decided that I'm getting another Novarossi. I'm not going to tell you what it is. That will be a surprise. But I will tell you that I'm getting another Reds. So I'm going to send Lance 2 Picos, a Reds, the Elite 5, 1, 2, 3. So like 5 engines. So hopefully in the next few months here, I'll have 5 next level modified engines. Next level. Okay? This Reds right here is the R5R Racer. Is it next level? Well, not really, because it's stock. But it's a badass engine. And I'm going to show you some of the components. It's very nice for a budget Reds. R5R Team Edition. Is this thing next level? Yes, it is. Why? Because it's modified. This is modded. This isn't stock. It's modded by you-know-who. Is this here? This is arguably next level, because I believe from looking at this Novarossi Virtus, this is what you call factory modified. And I'm going to show you why. So this is a factory modded .21. Now, I've seen guys open up engines in the past, and you can't compare, you know, I mean, you can compare, but you can't talk about the same things when you're opening up different size engines. Like if I'm opening up a 32, a 28, and let's just say a 21, I'm not comparing the engines in the sense that, you know, which one's bad or asser, because they're different size. Now, if you're talking about modification, that's different. You're comparing modifications. If you're talking certain components, you can't really compare components or talk about performance and what's done to the components to change the performance when you're talking different size engines. Does that make sense to you guys? Like to sit there and compare a .32 or a 28 to a Virtus, it's not. You can't. There's nothing to compare. That's a different size engine. It doesn't make no sense. Now, if they're both modified by different guys, or you want to look at the what's modified, then that's different. But when you're comparing 2 bone stock engines and they're not even the same size, what's there to compare, really? Okay? Now, you notice these are all .21s. There's no .25, there's no .32, no point. These are all pea shooter .21s. These are all high quality. These aren't no alphas. These aren't no offnas. These aren't no, you know, bullshit off-name brand engine. No Chinaman. These are Italian, some of Italian's best engineering here. And looking at these three engines, and these three are my favorite engines. This Novarossi here, the Virtus, is a whole nother level. And it's not even modded. That's why I'm almost really thinking about getting it modified. The only issue I have is when I talked to Lance at RC Renew, he told me, and I checked it out, and it's true. This bearing is a special size. I think it's the front or the inner. I can't remember if the front or the rear bearing. It's a special size that only Novarossi carries. You can't get the bearings anywhere else. It's not like you can take a .21 bearing or a different .21 bearing from Novarossi and put it in here. There's a special size bearing made for the Virtus. And that's where I want to kind of touch on too. Novarossi has cut a lot of corners. I know there's a guy, and he knows who he is, that did a video talking about, the changes that Novarassi's made. Novarassi's cut a lot of corners. I mean, there's guys that I see that are opening up new Novarossi engines, limited edition. They don't even give you damn Venturis. What the hell? You don't get Venturis? You're spending $200-300 on an engine and they don't give you Venturis? Oh, hell no. And that's Mama Novarossi, man. She's, she's got a budget right now. She's on a budget. A low budget from Novarossi. And it's hurting Novarossi. The quality has dropped. There's no secret. And they are reusing a lot of parts and charging you top dollar. This engine, by the way, this Virtus, when you buy it brand new, it's about $275. Now, I noticed it did go down, the price. I think you get it for like around $200 now. Okay, which is cheaper than they were. But when I look at this engine, I'm going to show you it in a second, as soon as I get done babbling. This engine is by far another level. Like, I've seen Romas, and I've seen P5s, I haven't. And I've seen a lot of Bonitos, and I've seen Mitos. This Virtus is a whole nother level. There's another engine called, I think it's, I don't know if I pronounced it right, Mephisto, something like that. Like, almost like Memphis, Tennessee. Go look it up. It's like a $400 .21. Ridiculously priced. But it's the same type of thing. The quality is another level. And I'm also going to touch on shimming. Like I said, let's get shimming out of the way. Okay, now when you're shimming an engine, every engine comes with different shims. Some are hard to see because, like Novarassi's, you can't see the shims because they're this color. They're not your normal copper shims. I think they're aluminum. I think this is aluminum shims. Okay. Now, the Virtus came with a .80 shim. I've never seen an engine come with that many shims. And by the way, Novarossi is known for using those colored shims. So you can't even, this motor has a .60 millimeter stack of shims in it. You can't even, you can see where the shim is, right? This is the firing chamber right here. The shims are right around the outside of it. Can you see those shims? They're hard to see, like I said, because Novarossi doesn't use copper shims. At least I know the Novarossis that I own don't. They use these shims, so they're hard to see. This engine, I took out .20 millimeter shim. It's got a .60 shim in it. Okay, now the Reds has got a .55 shim in it. I mark it so I can keep track of it. You guys can probably see the markings right there. This has got a .55 shim, and I believe I don't know. No, I haven't done anything on. I'm about ready to. I am going to shim the R5R Racer. Okay. I think it comes with like a 20. It only came with one shim in it. But remember, this engine I didn't buy brand new. None of these engines I bought brand new. Even though when I got them, they had less than a quart of fuel to them. Like, so they're pretty new. I mean, I've ran through this R5R racer, I've ran maybe a gallon of fuel through it, and look at the piston. It still doesn't even have any carbon buildup. Well, it has a little on the top, but it's brand new. Okay, this R5R Team Edition that's modified by RV Mods, okay, this has about 5 gallons through it of Byron's 3011. All my engines have nothing and will only ever see anything but Byron's 3011. By the way, quick side note, fun fact, I just found out Elliott Boots. You guys know who Elliott Boots is. Used to race for Kyosho. Mike Croddick was, that was Mike, Mike Croddick was his mechanic. Mike Croddick's been with Kyosho and Reds for, boy, he's been with Kyosho for like 30 something years, ever since when Kyosho's existed. Croddick has been with them. So anyway, Elliott Boots, one of the top drivers in Europe, if not one of the top in the world. He races for S-Works now. He runs Reds. He runs Byron's 3011 and always has run it. So that means that he has won a world title with Byron's. Just a fun fact. Just like I said, go look it up. Cody King, Team Kyosho, same thing. No coincidence that they both are Kyosho. He's won a world title. Cody King won a world title with Byron's 3011. So that just goes to show you, Byron's got a pretty good track record. Okay, they've got 2 world titles by 2 of the top drivers in the world right now. Okay, I'm just bragging about Byron's, because Byron's is the best fuel. That's no secret. Okay, but anyway, this is the Reds R5R Team Edition piston. Nice carbon buildup. That's what you want. You can see, like I've said before, when you've got this little gray area between the top of the piston, and you guys can see that, in the middle of the piston, you want, that's perfect. That's the kind of gray area you want. Okay, now if that gray area is wider than it is right there, that means you're running too lean. If it's smaller, okay, then that means you're running too rich. So that's about what you want. I learned that from Croddick. Okay, you guys, here, let me show you so I don't know if you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, look at this piston. Okay, the area that I'm talking about is, let me focus, is right here. This little gray area. You've got carbon buildup from the top to right here, and you've got it from here up to here. This area in here, you want it about, that's about perfect. Okay, this is probably more like 6 gallons of fuel that I ran through this R5R Team Edition. Okay, so when this gray area is really smaller than it is right now, that means you're running too rich. When it's wider, there's a wider gray area in between the top of the piston and the middle, that means you're running too lean. Okay, this Virtus, you can't really tell anything because, again, it's brand new. It's maybe got a gallon through it. You can see the carbon buildup, but there's not a lot on the side because it's, and I run my, you guys know I run my shit rich as hell. So anyway, when you're shimming does 3 things. 1, it'll affect the temperature that your engine runs. 2, it'll affect your top end or bottom end, depending on if you shim up or shim down. 3, okay, it'll affect your fuel mileage. So when you shim down, and you want to keep it between a 0.40 millimeter shim, stack of shims, okay? Remember, each shim weighs in, and make sure if you don't have one of these, you can't shim shit. So if you want to even get into shimming, and this is my disclaimer, I don't recommend anybody that's been doing nitro for less than a year, don't even touch your shims or risk damaging your engine. Now you do what you want. I just got to put that out there because I don't want people getting the bright idea that the muggy told you open up and start shimming your engine. I don't even recommend you even opening up your engine if you have under a year in nitro. Sealed back engines. If you have less than a year, don't even open up your engine. Leave it alone. Okay? or you risk damaging something unless you know what you're doing. Okay? I gotta put that out there because I don't want people getting the wrong idea and then I get blamed for it, saying, "Oh, Muggy, you shouldn't have." But this is for people that are next level, people that are ready to go the next level, and that want to learn what shimming does, and it is a tuning option. Shimming is your last and final tuning option. Okay, when all the tuning is done, your clutch and your pipe and your plugs and your fuel and your venturis and your high needle and your low needle and your all that. When that's all in the fuel, when all that's said and done, the last tuning option you have is shimming your engine. Like I said, I don't recommend anybody to do it. I don't even recommend any. Like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. I've been shimming my engine, probably shimming engines for at least 2 years now. Maybe a little less. And I've done the experiments, and I've done the test work and the legwork and the trial and error. Okay? But I'm not going to be the guy that, you know, sits there and screws it up on video and then says, oh, hey, I'm new and I'm still learning. I'm going to do my legwork first. Then I'm going to do a video like I'm doing now and tell you what works and what doesn't work, what it affects, what it doesn't affect, and how kind of it works. Okay, so when you're shimming, you want to keep it at from a 0.40 millimeter. That means usually shims are anywhere from 0.10 millimeters, okay, to 0.20 millimeters, okay. The Virtus had 4 0.20 millimeter shims in it. That means it had a 0.80 millimeter shim stack. The other two engines I couldn't tell you because, you know, I don't remember what they were when I got them. Okay, but when you shim down, when you shim down around 4, let's say you run a 40 shim, or a 45, or maybe even a 50. The lower you get to the 40, to around 40, you can even run a 20 or 30. You don't want to get too low because remember, you don't want, when you don't have any shims or you get your shims down too low, you're risking your piston touching the top of your button head, which it's not going to touch the burn chamber, the inner part, but your piston will touch this part. Okay, remember, the piston will touch here. Okay, so putting a smaller shim stack in it is going to give you more bottom end, but you're going to burn more fuel. Your fuel mileage isn't going to be as good, and your engine will run hotter. That's my experience. When you shim up, depending on how high you go, towards 0.70, I don't recommend going over 0.70 millimeters, you're going to, and also on the, when you shim down, you're taking away from top end. So let's go over that again. When you shim down on your engine, you're getting less runtime. Your engine's going to run a little hotter, and you're going to have a lot more bottom end, but less top end. Now reverse that. When you shim up, you're going to get more top end, less bottom end. You're going to get better mileage, runtime, and your engine's going to run cooler. So the whole goal of shimming is to find a happy medium some way. I found personal experience on reds and various .21s that around a 50 to a 0.55 millimeter shim stack is pretty perfect. My R5R Team Edition, this one here modified, I've got a .55 and it's perfect. Plenty of top end, snappy on the bottom, great mid, good fuel mileage, temperatures are adequate, not too high, not too low. Okay, perfect. I am still experimenting with the Virtus. I originally ran it with the .80 stock. Great engine, but it didn't have a lot of bottom. I took away 0.20 millimeters. I've got a 0.60 millimeter shim stack in it now, and it's better. Has more bottom. Still has a lot. I still think I could take away a little bit more top because this engine just has a lot of top end. Definitely a top end engine. So I want to get a little bit more bottom. So I might shim down a little bit more. But you know, it's okay where it is. Plus the gas mileage is good too. So that's what shimming does. Now, it's all trial and error. You got to shim it. All engines are different. Reds is going to be different from the Nobarasi, from the Picos, and all that. Bigger engines and all that. I don't really mess with my shimming on my big engines because they're modified. So, I mean, I don't really have a big stock engine. .21s I do. So, I mean, look at this engine. This is a budget Reds. I mean, look at okay, that's the cooling. You know, it's cool. It's all right. You know, the crank. Look at the crank. It comes with silicone crank fill. Okay? Okay, it comes with a silicone crank fill. Yeah, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about. Not bad. Nice back plate. You know. Nice diamond cut, they call them. Reds. Carburetor. These carburetors are okay. I really don't care for that high-end side adjustment. But it's a good tuning carburetor. It tunes very well. Button head. Button head's nice. I mean, you know, this is Reds makes one of the nicest button heads. I mean, that's your button head. That's pretty sick. That's badass. When I first seen that, when I first got my first Reds, I was like, oh, snaps! Look at that. Okay, so we're gonna run. I think I'm gonna run a .40. It had a 0.20 millimeters, one shim in it. I'm gonna go up one and see what that does. I know this engine has a lot of top end. It might not need it. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't take away too much of the bottom. And, you know, the block, badass. It's no big deal. I mean, Reds blocks are Reds blocks. I mean, you can look at them. Ceramic bearings. Most Reds come standard ceramic bearings. Machined very well. Okay. Now, that's entry-level Reds. Okay. This is their budget engine. Now, next level Reds is this. Okay. Obviously, the head, look, all milled out. Badass. That's the sign of quality right off the bat. I mean, it's all louvered, the whole thing. Okay? Oh, we didn't look at the piston. Piston on the R5R Racer, yeah, Red's pistons are cool. I mean, they're nothing fancy. This is just, you know, standard. Not bad. Sleeve's decent. Bone stock. Haven't done anything to it. Thought of doing some port work to it myself, but yeah, I just leave it. It's a good engine the way it is. You know, doesn't have really any fangs in it. I don't know, maybe I might do a little port work. I don't know. This is the R5R, like I said, Team Edition, modified by RB Mods, okay? Piston, look at the difference. Look at they're both Reds. Look at the piston difference, you can tell. See the bottom of the skirt? They call this the skirt. I mean, you can just see the quality difference. I mean, on the R5R Team Edition. I think the Conrads are pretty identical. You know, although this one looks a little bit beefier. Okay. Sleeve. Obviously, this sleeve's got work done to it. It's got some fangs in it. Rick did a little bit of modding to it. Not a lot. He didn't really do a lot to this engine, unfortunately. Still a badass engine. Back plate on this, diamond again. See those scratches? That's no bueno. Make sure when you put your crank in and you put your colic on, first off, make sure always run a washer on your here when you put your crank in. Run a washer in there, then put your colic. Don't just put a colic on here, okay, which, you know, the colic is this. Don't just put the colic on there with no washer, because what's going to happen is you're going to damage your bearing. I've had it happen before. Okay, no bueno. Then you got to change your damn bearing. That's no bueno. Okay, so make sure you put a flat washer on there, and when you put the colic, make sure you pull your crank all the way forward. So back to the Reds. Now this crank has been obviously filled by Rick. He did a crank fill on it. Okay, he did some work to it. I mean, with this crank, you can look at it. I mean, look at it. It's got tungsten slugs in it to balance it. It's just, I mean, Rick did a little bit of work to it. This is, you know, again, this is done by RB Mods. I got another one of these engines identical coming, and we're gonna get it modded by Lance at RCR, and you will see the difference. Trust me. But you know, this is a good engine. I love this R5 Team Edition. It's next level compared to this one. Like this is the Camry right here. This is the Lexus. Button heads, you know, they're pretty much identical. Like I said, I got a 0.55. I got a 0.55 millimeter shim in it. Carburetor, I like these carburetors better. These are the older red ones. It just doesn't have that side adjustment, just regular. And I like reds also because they don't have no third needle adjustment. So, block, again, very nice. Ceramic bearings, front and rear. Good quality, you know. Piston, we showed you that. Showed you, you know, the sleeve. So, now this engine, look at this engine. This is a bone stock, I call high-end Novorossi. First of all, look at the block. See the way the block's cut out? So this cooling head can just slide down on there. Look at that. That's just, I mean, next level, man. Look at that. This thing is badass. I wish they would do this type of work to the 28.8. Can you imagine that? I mean, look at this. This is a bone stock crank. Look, it's got 3 tungsten slugs in it. Look at the work. I'm telling you, this is factory modified. It looks like it was modded. There's no stock crank. You've got a DLC coating on the end of it. You know? The only thing it doesn't have is the crank fill. That's why, I mean, I'd like Lance to do some more work to this. I think this engine, if I got this engine modded, this Virtus would be one nasty, filthy, disgusting beast. Trust me. And that's all. For the Muggy to say that about a pea shooter, that I'm pretty, you know, that means I'm pretty impressed by the work that they've done. I mean, look at that crank, man. That's just, it's stock. It's badass. I mean, look at the sleeve. Look at that, man. It's like a gladiator mask. Whenever I look at this engine, this isn't the first time I pulled it apart. I mean, I get chills, man. This thing's just badass. Look how thick it is, man. I mean, look, compared to even a Reds. Look at that. Can you just see the beefiness? I mean, and that's good. When you have something like this that's that beefy, I mean, you can do some good modding to this thing. I mean, look at the way this thing is just designed. It's just badass. Okay, piston. Look at the piston. The piston has a different skirt to it. Look at the front of it. See the way it is? Badass crank. I mean, there's ceramic bearings in this thing too. I mean, the back plate, that's not a normal Novorossi back plate. I mean, this engine is just badass. Now, the only thing I don't like, 3-speed, these mid needles. These things suck ass. If you have those in Novorossis, don't touch them. Leave them alone. Do not touch them unless you know what you're doing, or you will jack your tune will be all out of whack. You know, other than that, this motor is badass. I mean, you can see it's just next level, man. The whole quality of it is just a whole nother level. I mean, look at the button head on this thing. It's got the seal on it. The seal, rubber seal. I mean, the way it, like I said, the way this thing is just badass. I almost might send this one and get it modded too. But anyway, there you go. There is 3 badass .21s. If you don't even got a badass .21 like any of these, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't even know. You need to get yourself a badass. If you're going to get a pea shooter, get yourself an Italian pea shooter. Okay? And then start drawing your own conclusion about, you know, what's what. Okay? So anyway, that's all the Muggy's got. I hope I helped somebody out there out a little bit. One thing I wanted to touch on real quick before I go. This is over an hour video. Gearing. When you're gearing your spur gear, the more teeth you have on the front spur, okay, the more bottom end you're going to get. The less teeth you have on your spur gear, the more top end you're going to get. It's reversed. Just remember this. It's reversed from your pinion. You know, pinion, like a 13 pinion's more bottom end and a 17's more top end. Just remember, your spur is the opposite of that. And that'll help you remember when you're doing your gearing. Because gearing is very important on when you're running your whips. Okay, that plays a big factor on the performance of your engines. So anyway, that's all I got. I'm starving. I got to reheat this up now because it's cold, but it looks bomb. So there you go, people. Next level tacos. Next level budget whips. Next level tuning. Okay? that's all the Muggy's got. Catch you guys on the next video. Cross my fingers. I'm going to get you guys a running video here very soon. Alright, people. That's all I got. Again, shout out to Mugen and Techno dominating the DNC, man. Congratulations to Mr. Tebow, man. He deserves a podium. It's been a while for him. And also, congratulations to Ryan Mayfield. Mugen Truggies are the baddest, assest Truggies on the planet. And Technos are too. So, that's all I got. Peace, I'm out.